It looks like our only option is to stay patient and continue our investigation. But regardless, the fact remains that Namatame has committed his crimes, and he has already been arrested.
So, no matter what we do, the case might be over now?
Though the truth will be forever lost in darkness.
Well, for us, it's more like... it's lost in the fog.
I'm going back to my own world. It's not easy to live there now, but it's my reality. I'm really, really thankful for everything all of you did for me. Well, goodbye.
Now, a follow-up report on the serial kidnapping and murder case that shook Inaba last year. Defendant Taro Namatame has confessed to committing the multiple kidnappings that previously seemed irrelevant. However, he continues to flatly deny his involvement in the first two murders. With so much unknown regarding his motives and methods, many are hoping his trial will shed some light on these mysteries. Up next is our fog forecast for today.
Fog is still covering the town, but it should soften somewhat this week with the coming of spring. Today and tomorrow will see fairly light amounts of fog as usual. Saturation from then on is still to be determined. If you have travel plans, please be mindful of visibility conditions.
It's almost time for your train. You ready to go? Too bad Nanako couldn't leave the hospital in time to say goodbye. A little more time and maybe she could have come outside. Feel free to come visit any time, okay? And say hi to your parents for me. There's no doubt he's the one who put Nanako through all this. But the more I interrogate him, the more I start to question myself. Did Namatame really murder two people? Well, we'll see what comes out in our investigation. In any case, there haven't been any more bizarre incidents lately. Here's hoping Inaba goes back to its usual quiet self and stays that way. Well, we should get going. Your friends are probably waiting at the station. Come on.
leaving us. You know, it was overdue quick.
It's going to get boring without you around, Senpai.
You will visit, won't you?
We'll come immediately if anything happens on your end. Be sure to take good care of yourself.
Take care. Keep in touch, okay? I'll reserve a room for you at the Amagi Inn the next time you come.
Well, I'll see ya. You really helped us out with lots of stuff. Thanks, partner.
This bad ending is mostly the same as the second, except Dojima's speech changes a bit, because at this point in the story, you, the player, know that Namatame isn't the real killer, and even Dojima suspects as much himself, but because you couldn't find any leads, he's unable to prove it. There is one thing that I want to mention about this ending, and it's kind of weird. I've seen the bad endings on YouTube before, and I swear that in some footage I've watched of this bad ending, Yosuke had an extra line where he references the Japanese phrase, lost in a grove, before he says, or in our case, it's lost in the fog. My mind could be playing tricks on me because whenever I've looked up the scene now, I've never seen that line. But I have such a vivid memory of Yosuke saying this. And if he did say this, I'd find it really interesting because it's a reference to a Japanese short story by Ryunosuke Akutagawa. The name might not be familiar to most of you, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you actually do know this story. It was adapted into Akira Kurosawa's 1950 film Rashomon, which in turn has been the subject of many adaptations and parodies in Western media. The premise is that 4 witnesses each give accounts of the murder of a samurai. Instead of getting a clearer picture through more information, the more of these accounts you hear, the more confused you get, because they're all mutually contradictory. And a detail that many of the adaptations and parodies miss is that the original story never gives you any indication which, if any, of these accounts is the truth. In fact, it's heavily implied that none of them are. The story is a bit postmodernist and meant to be a comment on humanity's inherent inability to tell the truth or something like that. So you can see why referencing it would definitely be appropriate to this bad ending.